Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Thanks for coming on this health journey with me today. Now, if I'm a little bit off today, don't judge me because I'm 2 days fasted. And if you were with me on my last video, one of the things I told you is that I had felt a little bit off that video too because I had just cut out carbs and I cut out sugar and I cut out caffeine, and all of those things act as uppers in our life. And of course, what happens with fasting, and one of the great things about it is it forces us to course correct. In general, when we look at, individuals in the general public, or maybe you even, have this happen to you, it certainly happens to me. All of these things like the caffeine and the sugar and the carbs, they're all very addictive. So if we don't course correct every once in a while and clean up our lifestyle, it really can get out of control. And that's, of course, where all the metabolic syndrome comes in and the obesity and all the tremendous amount of health problems that people face today. This is where most of it's coming from. So it's good to course correct. So I'm gonna actually leave my coat on here as we walk through here because it's so stinking cold out. I'm still freezing. So whenever you course correct and you start making these changes and you go into the fasted state, sometimes you can feel a little bit lousy because you are going from being a sugar burner to a fat burner. So what that means is that you're going to go through the state of ketosis. You can get the keto flu. You can feel kind of down in the dumps. Of course, during this time, we make sure that we're pushing lots of water, lots of electrolytes and everything, but sometimes you still just don't feel 100%. So what I want to do is show you one of the therapies that I incorporate, that you've probably never seen this before, but I incorporate this whenever I'm fasting because it helps me feel so much better. So we're gonna go into this room right here. And this therapy that I do is called Superhuman Protocol. What you do in this therapy is you first lay on this bed. It's PEMF. And what this is going to do is ground your body. It's going to positively charge your cells, and it helps you feel so much better. There's a lot of studies on this particular therapy. And what it does is it helps your immune system, it helps your cells, it just offers an overall healing benefit. But specifically why I'm doing it is because that positive charge that it gives to the cells is going to allow me to be able to uptake a lot more oxygen. If you really like taking control of your health and doing it naturally, then become a part of my natural health community called Health Club. I'll put a link in the description below because when you join Health Club, essentially you're going to get live Q&As. I'll be in there answering your questions along with tackling conversations on genetics, detox, and of course, how to follow the best diet for your current state of health. We cover all of this in Health Club. There's a link in the description below. Look forward to seeing you there. And this leads me to the next therapy. And this is part of Superhuman Protocol, is that you do this therapy right here and you breathe in this oxygen. It's going to be 90% plus oxygen. You get on this bike, you start pedaling, and as you're doing this, you're going to increase your heart rate and it's going to start pumping oxygen throughout your entire body. When you do this therapy, I'm telling you, you feel amazing. It's like the greatest energy high that you could imagine. Now, if you've heard of things like hyperbaric chamber, this is essentially what this is, just a little bit different. You're using that oxygen to help heal your body. It's very good for your cardiovascular system, your brain. It's very good for prevention of inflammation and cancer and a lot of nasty things in the body. So I'll do this therapy next, and it really gives me the boost. And quite frankly, one of the challenges I tend to have when I fast is I start to get like a little bit of a headache, sometimes associated with the keto flu. This wipes it out almost immediately. So I'll do this oxygen therapy. And then after that, I do this therapy right here. It's called photobiomodulation or low-level laser therapy. And essentially, this is going to blast you with over 52,000 red lights. And what we can do is in the computer, we basically, before we go into it, we determine what we want to focus on because different light frequencies offer different healing capabilities. So I'll turn this light frequency specifically today on like stress and tension and that sort of thing, just because I'm feeling a lot of that in my body right now because I've gone into ketosis and went through that keto flu phase. Now, though the keto flu is a little bit uncomfortable to go through, it's a very healing process. What's happening metabolically in your body and what's happening with the lowering of inflammation and the brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is going to your brain and just regenerating neural tissue. There's so many healing things that happen throughout this process. So being in the state of ketosis while fasted is extremely healing, and that's why we love it. It kills cancerous cells. It breaks down all those bad cells in your body, recycles them to make new healthy cell. And so going through this process right here just makes me feel like $1,000,000 when I'm fasting. And to kind of top it off, it just has an incredible healing benefit. And so Superhuman Protocol is what I go through in order to just optimize just overall health and function whenever doing a fast. Now, here's the thing. Like we had talked about before, it's important to make sure that you're making these course corrections in your life and you're incorporating things like fasting is a very healing and honestly, it doesn't cost you anything, guys. Like, I hear so many times in healthcare, well, this, therapy is too expensive or, all these things are too hard and too much effort. Fasting is like literally do nothing, right? Like don't eat, drink lots of water, lots of electrolytes. You can throw some exogenous ketones in there, but for the most part, you're doing nothing. So remember that it's these core therapies that you can utilize in order to really kickstart that healing process in your body. We talk all the time about supplementation. We talk all the time about different therapies you can use, but the reality is your body is self-healing, self-regulating, and capable of healing on its own. And a lot of times we look at all the different things we can do to put input back into the body. Like I said, therapies, supplements, but sometimes you have to just take away that input and allow the body to do its thing. And this is where fasting comes in. So what I would highly encourage you to do if you're somebody who has never fasted before is start. If it's just a 16-hour fast, start with that and then move to maybe an 18-hour, a 24-hour. After you've mastered those fasting methods, start trying a 2-day fast, a 3-day fast. And if you're really wild, then what you could do is go into, 4-day fast, 5-day fast, 7-day fast, which I don't typically do too often because I would rather fast frequently than do those long duration ones. It become very difficult for me with my job. And, I see patients typically for 11 hours at a time. And when I'm seeing these patients, I need to be sharp and I need to have the energy for that full 11, 12 hours that it takes. So therefore, it's not typical that I'm going to do a 5-day fast or a 7-day fast, but overall, I incorporate fasting regularly. One of the things I like to do just because everybody says, well, what do you do after you get done fasting? What I like to do is I like to go into a system to where I'm fasting. I'm doing like intermittent fasting for 4 days a week. And then 2 days a week, I'm not fasting at all. And then 1 day a week, I'll do a 24-hour fast. And that is like the ideal schedule for me. So 4 days intermittent fasting, 2 days, eat whenever I want, 4 meals a day, whatever it is. And then from there, do a good 24-hour fast. And that is my protocol on a week-to-week basis outside of doing some 3-day fasts. And ideally, in the perfect world, I like to do a 3-day fast at least once a month. So that's what I'm doing for fasting today. Overall, we're pushing through. I'm going to the 3rd day, and I look forward to just seeing the results and benefits that I get out of that. So thanks for coming with me on this journey. See you in the next video.